It's time to lace up our shoes and put in the work. Today, NBC2 is gearing up for the Summer Olympic Games.
We've been training for this for weeks, months, even years, and now it is finally here.
A final pump session this morning as we're putting all the final preparations in place before taking you out to Paris.
We may not be competing,
but our coverage of the Paris 2024 Summer Olympics starts right now.
Right now at 6 o'clock, 3 of Southwest Florida's counties are under a state of emergency. Thanks for counting on NBC2 News today. Good morning, everyone. I'm Alan Campbell.
And I'm Lisa Spooner. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis declared a state of emergency for 41 counties, including Collier, Lee, and Charlotte. Now is the time to get prepared. This morning, NBC2's team of meteorologists and reporters are making sure you're ready for the weather impacts we are expected to feel.
NBC2 First Alert meteorologist Jason Dunning has a timeline of those impacts. Jason, good morning.
I was in shock. I didn't know what the heck to think.
A machete is one way to get a guy's digits, literally. We'll tell you what prompted the big chop.
Plus, pulling away from insurance. But first, NCH wants to hear from you, their patients.
It will be a great, wonderful idea to slow down traffic.
We'll tell you how much it will cost to turn plans for a Buckingham roundabout into reality.
And plans for a linear park in Lee County, what that is and where it may go. This morning at 6.
Whether you like your steak rare, medium, or well done, the first step in cooking any steak is making sure you actually have the meat. This morning, we'll tell you where more than $20,000 worth of steak was stolen. Here in Florida, it's illegal to take videos in the bathroom, especially if you slip it under a stall. We'll show you where one man is accused of doing just that straight ahead.
Keeping an extra eye on your front porch.
To make sure that no one is following behind your mail person, we'll show you where this porch pirate was just caught on camera.
Instead of using their umbrella to stay dry from the rain, one person caught on camera using their umbrella to commit a crime. I'll tell you how to help police catch the culprit.
All this ice and it's still not enough. What it will take to get the rink ready for another Everblade season.
Checking now with NBC2 First Alert meteorologist Jason Dunning. Jason, this morning you were saying it's more like a rinse and repeat kind of a day.
Yeah, rinse, lather, repeat, I would say, in terms of our weather pattern here.
News today. NBC2 First Alert meteorologist Jason Dunning. Jason, this morning you were saying it's more like a rinse and repeat kind of a day.
Yeah, rinse, lather, repeat, I would say, in terms of our weather pattern.
So what you're saying is we could just play yesterday's forecast,
yeah,
right? Because we're seeing something very similar today. Rinse and repeat, calm morning.
It's like you're scarred. Like now I'm nervous about this next storm coming up.
Chances for development in the Gulf have increased this Friday morning. I'll show you the impacts we will experience in Southwest Florida starting this weekend.
Plus, people living in Charlotte County need your help now. How you can help today with Hurricane Helene recovery efforts.
And NBC2 is on top of breaking news. 14 people involved in a crash. We'll take you to the scene and tell you where this head-on collision happened. Right now at 6.
This is a live look right now at Cape Canaveral, where a crucial launch is happening any moment. You're looking at United Launch Alliance's Vulcan rocket. This is the second test flight for ULA's certification process with the U.S. Space Force. We just got word there is a few-minute delay, but you can count on NBC2 to bring you this launch live when it happens. Well, good Friday morning, everyone. Thanks for counting on NBC2 News today. I'm Alan Campbell.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Zuri Hoffman. We have a busy morning ahead for us. Let's check in now with NBC2 First Alert meteorologist Lauren Hope. Lauren, I know you're keeping an eye on the tropics. A disturbance could actually impact us this weekend.
As you wake up this morning, Helene is heading further away from Florida and has since been downgraded to a tropical storm.
Yeah, we're still seeing Helene's impacts all across Southwest Florida. Thanks for counting on NBC2 News today. Good morning, everyone. I'm Alan Campbell.
And I'm Lisa Spooner. So the storm may be past us, but NBC2 has team coverage this morning because we are still feeling the effects. We want you to know what current conditions look like right now. But before we take you live to our different locations, let's first check in with NBC2 First Alert meteorologists Jason Dunning and Lauren Hope in the NBC2 First Alert Hurricane Center.
Hey, good morning. It's going to be a much better day today.
The lights go out right before All Hallows Eve this morning. NBC2 showing you how many people are waking up without power.
Plus, make room for trick-or-treaters. We'll explain how Halloween is changing how your debris is being picked up today.
And when the skies go dark for Halloween, I'll let you know if we'll have any surprises from Mother Nature for the trick-or-treaters tonight.
He threw them off of him like they were rag dolls.
NBC2 on top of breaking news. A call to deputies turns to a deadly situation. What prompted them to pull the trigger?
While some beaches are safe to swim, we'll show you where water quality is the worst so you don't get sick.
Now, less than 2 weeks out from the general election, whether you're headed to the polls or sending in your selections, today's the deadline to make your vote count right now at 6.
I just want justice for my baby.
A 16-year-old killed by a stray bullet. Now her cousin and another teen are heading to court in this convoluted case.
Plus, a major clue in a Fort Myers murder. But the person who committed the crime is still a mystery.
Smoke and flames cause a house to cave in. We'll take you to the multi-million-dollar home now turned to rubble. Right now at 6.
Very difficult because we didn't budget for this.
Yeah, unexpected costs for unsuspecting condo owners. We'll tell you where they're coming from and what you need to do to prepare. Stay with us.
Dine and dash turns into dine and crash. We'll show you the damage left behind and tell you where the owner is working to pick up the pieces next.
Plus, keeping our beaches safer for sea turtles using very specific lighting. We'll explain next. Well, it may be hot this summer, but remember, you should always park your car before hitting the pool. We'll explain how this vehicle ended up in hot water.
NBC2's Hurricane Week starts today. I'm updating you on a tropical wave that will likely become the next hurricane of the season in your first alert forecast.
It's time to zip up those backpacks. NBC2 News Today is taking you back to school.
And I'm taking you to Cape Coral, where your kids' school buses are hitting the roads to come pick them up for their first day of school.
Plus, how your morning commute will change now that the Caloosahatchee Bridge is back open, but not completely. I'm Lacey Lee explaining why right now on NBC2 News Today.
I heard a popping and smell something.
Impacts from Hurricane Milton still far from over.
It started blowing up the appliances.
Where power surges are creating major problems.
Plus, keeping the lights on getting more costly. Why the power company wants you to start coughing up more money.
And why you may not want to rely on mail services to make sure that your vote counts right now at 6.
And splashdown.
This was so cool to watch the live stream of this morning. Astronauts, part of the SpaceX Crew 8, back on Earth this morning. Finally, they successfully undocked from the International Space Station just a few days ago after they were delayed more than 2 weeks. This is after being delayed and delayed and delayed. The 4 astronauts, they were supposed to come back home to Earth October 7th, but hectic weather, of course, from Hurricane Milton pushed back those plans.
Crews from the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft landed in the water off the coast of Pensacola just before 3:30 this morning. They'd been up at the ISS since March. And get this, they traveled nearly 100 million miles around the Earth in 235 days. That's like driving from Fort Myers to New York City more than 80,000 times. Now the crew is getting some quick medical checks before they head to NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston to be reunited with family.
Very exciting to see them back home.
Yes, for sure. Good morning. Thanks for counting on NBC2 News Today. Happy Friday. I'm Hope Salmon.
I'm Joshua Cole, and we are joined by NBC2.
NBC2 is on top of breaking news. A massive fire burns the boathouse in Cape Coral to the ground. We'll tell you why this morning fire officials are still keeping an eye on the restaurant that's now turned to rubble.
A death investigation in Punta Gorda. We'll take you to the community blocked off, and this isn't the first time for the neighborhood.
Immediately knew something was wrong.
A driver becomes a victim.
I was shaking and hyperventilating.
Plus, you'll hear the spine-chilling situation one woman went through, and she's not the only one either.
Right now at 6, let's get right to that breaking news this morning. I want you to take a look at these flames here burning while you were sleeping. NBC2 was there as the Boathouse Tiki Bar and Grill in Cape Coral was engulfed in flames, now turned to rubble and ash.
Man, I can't believe it every time I see that video. And this morning, NBC2's Mercedes Martinez is local from the restaurant at the Cape Coral Yacht Club off Driftwood Parkway. Mercedes, you just spoke to fire officials. What did they tell you? Do they have any idea how the fire started?
Well, Lisa, they have an idea, but nothing has been confirmed yet. They are still waiting for an investigator to get here and scope out the scene. But as you can see behind me right now, it's still pretty active. The water actually was just shut off not too long ago. But yeah, as I spoke with the Cape Coral Fire Battalion Chief, he was telling me that fire crews were still here as they were putting out hot spots and flare-ups, but it's still a little too dark to see, Lisa, but you can see this restaurant is gone. The place where people used to dine at and overlook the Caloosahatchee River is just no more. And you can see the roof is just gone and material just dangling down. I want you all to take a look at this video here. Our crews arrived on scene last night, capturing fire crews battling massive flames that engulfed the restaurant. The call came in just before 10 p.m. and employees of the restaurant called it in. Firefighters worked for several hours to put the flames out. I spoke with the Cape Coral Fire Battalion Chief, Ian Milliken. He tells me the weather was an issue containing the fire with the winds and several new alcohol bottles. The Cape Coral Boathouse Tiki Bar and Grill just opened yesterday after Hurricane Milton. Milliken tells me they had an issue with water supplies as well. There was only one fire hydrant available and they had to take water out of the Caloosahatchee River. So far, they still don't know the exact cause, like I just mentioned, but they do have an idea of where it derived from.
We're not sure the cause of the fire, but from what the initial reports were, is the fire originated somewhere in the kitchen. Right now we're continuing to put the fire out, and then the fire investigator will go in and conduct his investigation. We'll be able to hopefully find a cause.
Now, luckily, I can say that there were no injuries reported. You can count on NBC2 to keep you updated once we learn the official cause of this fire here at the popular Cape Coral restaurant. I'm local here at the Cape Coral Yacht Club. Mercedes Martinez, NBC2.
All right, Mercedes, thank you. And this is a big blow for the Cape Coral Yacht Club. The Tiki Bar and Grill just reopened after Hurricane Milton Thursday morning. Then just hours later, the restaurant is up in flames.
Yeah, it actually took a lot longer for the Boathouse to reopen after Hurricane Ian, of course. That storm hit more than 2 years ago, but the restaurant didn't even reopen until earlier this summer. And I mean, last year when we were doing our Hurricane Week coverage, Jason and I were actually out there, you know, at the yacht club, and the Boathouse is a staple. It's an iconic landmark in Cape Coral, and to see that video is heartbreaking knowing it's gone.
It's a great place to grab some food, maybe a drink, and sit there and just watch people out on the Caloosahatchee, you know, so that's a big loss for sure for people there in the Cape.
You heard Mercedes mention that the wind was definitely a factor. It's been breezy through the overnight. We've had winds gusting up to around 20 miles per hour, and this is a pretty breezy stretch of weather. It's going to go all the way through the weekend as we look past the American flag right now over Victory Lane Chevrolet. Well, we'll talk more about that weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Jason, thank you. It is 6:05, and this morning we are working to get you more information about a death investigation in Charlotte County. We know Charlotte County deputies were investigating along Turback Drive just off US 41 in Punta Gorda. A mobile command center was stationed on the street. Now, there was another death investigation on the same street last May. Deputies say a man didn't report a decomposing body inside a home. Plus, there was a shooting investigation in 2021. Again, right now, we are working to get you more information from deputies. Count on NBC2 to keep you updated once we get additional information.
6:06 this morning, there is going to be a larger emphasis on school safety at Collier County schools after a student was hit. It happened Thursday morning at the intersection of Radio Road and Manor Boulevard. That's east of Santa Barbara Boulevard, close to Golden Gate High School. The Collier County Sheriff's Office says the teen was hit by a driver that went through a bus stop. That's why today deputies will be out there making sure drivers are sticking to those school zone and bus stop rules. Sticking with school, if your student goes to a Collier County public school, the teacher planning day originally scheduled for today, Friday, is now pushed back to next week. That means your kid does have school this morning, so don't forget to get them up, but they will not have school next Friday, October 25th. It has to do with the days missed because of Hurricane Milton. The district says they'll let us know if any other changes are coming to the academic calendar.
The county school district is turning early dismissal days into full school days for students. All this to make up for days lost for Hurricane Milton. So take a look. We've got the dates listed on your screen. These are full school days. The school year is also extended by 2 days. They are early dismissal days, however. Remember, because of Hurricane Helene, Monday, January 6th has also been added as a full school day for students.
And if your kids go to Charlotte County schools, the hurricane makeup days scheduled for November 25th through the 27th are now going to be regular school days. So that is a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Students have lost 7 days of school this year because of storms. We'll make sure to remind you again as we get closer to those dates.
Well, people all over Southwest Florida are working to recover from Hurricane Milton, and people on Pine Island as well. In fact, now they're turning to the power of social media.
It's pretty cool. Listen to this. So residents created a modern-day lost and found using a Facebook group to help people find items swept away during the storm. Here's how it works. If you find something, you can post it on the page. If you've lost something, you can share details to help others keep an eye out for it. So far, about 75 people have posted items in the group.
Just kind of a mad scramble to try to find the things that you're missing. Mailboxes, hot tubs, kayaks, boats, everything down to the little ornamental, yard decorations. Yeah, anything that just wasn't nailed down, it could float away.
If you live on Pine Island and you're still looking for belongings, or maybe you found something and want to help reunite it with its owner, you can visit the Pine Island Lost and Found Facebook group.
What a great idea. 608, home, flood, and condo insurance are already hard to get here in Florida, but now some people worry these past 2 hurricanes could force those prices to go up even higher. Early estimates say Hurricane Milton could be one of the top 10 costliest storms in the U.S. Look at this. Researchers from CoreLogic say damages could be as high as $34 billion. And the estimate doesn't include extensive damages from at least 9 deadly tornadoes that ripped all across Florida before Milton even made landfall. A big wild card now is reinsurance.
If the global reinsurance market decides to make adjustments to rates for the 2025 hurricane season, that will go a long way towards determining where Florida property insurers need to set their rates.
Insurance experts also say we may not know the full extent of how Hurricanes Helene and Milton will reflect on insurance until the middle of next year. Small business owners today, you can get disaster recovery help at the Mobile Assistance Center. It's at the Port Charlotte Town Center Mall near Bells. You can get on-site support today from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Same hours for tomorrow. Then on Sunday, you can go there from noon until 5 p.m. Just make sure to bring all your financial documents with you.
This morning, the Clewiston community is coming together to honor and remember 16-year-old Jayana Johnson. She was killed by a stray bullet in Harlem Gardens 1 week ago today. Her cousin is one of 2 people accused of being involved in that deadly shooting. Hendry County deputies arrested Jay's cousin, Roosevelt Adderley, as well as Jaden Lawson. Roosevelt was actually with the family on Monday when NBC2 was speaking with them. Clewiston High School tells us they plan to honor Jay at the football game tonight. It is 6:31. You know, in today's day and age, social media, I mean, it really is all around us, right? It's almost inescapable and even potentially addictive, let's be honest. And that's part of the reason Florida made laws for your kids on social media. But now that law is being challenged. This morning, NBC2's Lacey Lee is in our studio explaining why Florida's social media law, that isn't even in effect yet, is already getting some flack. Lacey.
Well, Lisa, 2 tech industry groups said
local experience could be changing at the City of Palms Park in Fort Myers. That stadium, it's been empty for some time. NBC2's Mercedes Martinez is live for us this morning here in the studio. So Mercedes, it seems that this ballpark has really been at the center of attention for some time, but do we have any idea what is planned for the park?
All right, well, that could have gone south, but luckily it was a catch. Alan, big changes may be coming to the city of Palms Park in the heart of Fort Myers.
Hello, 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 Southwest Florida. Thanks for joining us right here on NBC2 News today. For the first day of school, all of our Southwest Florida counties, most of them at least, starting up for another year of school today. Aside from Collier County, who starts tomorrow. You got one more day to sleep in. We have NBC2 anchor Lisa Spooner out as the bus drivers are getting underway. We also have NBC2's Lacey Lee reporting on how one of our busiest bridges is reopening this morning and how that could actually still impact your commute. But before we get into all of that, let's get you right over to NBC2 First Alert meteorologist Jason Dunning here.
Better do something with your project because Alan and I make no guarantees it's going to stick around much longer.
Just saying.
Smells good.
It smells great. Yeah, blueberry muffin sounds great here
It does.
on this Tuesday morning. So the reason I've got this is because this is going to represent the moon. We've got a partial lunar eclipse tonight.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, the portion of the moon or the muffin that gets eclipsed, I will give that to both of you. Okay?
I hope it's a big piece.
We'll see. Okay, so yeah, very partial lunar eclipse. So there we go. There's the camera that I'm on right there. And then so I'm going to go ahead and eclipse the muffin to show you.
That's it?
That's our
all we're
partial
gonna
lunar
see.
eclipse
It's
tonight.
definitely
So
partial.
there you go, Alan.
You're too generous.
If you want to have, if you want to eat that,
Give it to Lisa.
I'll take this for later. Just kidding.
Definitely a better deal.
Get the crumbs off my hands. Yeah, let's get to your first alert forecast.
Time to bust out a coat because the cold is coming. Got my space heater ready. Another fuzzy blanket. Thanks for counting on NBC2 News today. I'm Lisa Spooner.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alan Campbell. Also, it's not that cold where we're going to get snow. Of course, we live here in Florida, right? But you might want to switch up your iced coffee this morning to something a little bit warmer. You know what I mean?
I like hot coffee.
I love it in Florida when the first cold front comes. And, you know, cold is, it's all relative. This is the first, we'll call it a fall front of the year. And you will notice a drop in temperatures and humidity. You might not need all of that, all that stuff.
You're talking
there.
to me.
Okay,
Below 80.
Maybe you will need it. But let's get to your first alert forecast and time out that cold front.
6:49, breaking right now in your NBC2 Alert Center. Take a look at this because you are watching history this morning. Look at your screen here. The Polaris Dawn crew are in the middle of their spacewalk mission. They just got the go-ahead to open the hatch. 4 crew members are civilians. This actually makes the first ever commercial spacewalk. In fact, sometimes we can see inside the capsule what is going on there. And so cool. One of the civilians has been holding on to the hatch for the last 30, 45 minutes, waiting just to open it up. The anticipation not only building in the capsule, but also there as crews on the ground here on Earth are helping those civilians prepare for the first ever civilian spacewalk. But listen to this. It's being completed twice as high as the International Space Station, where almost all of our spacewalks happen. Again, this is a live look inside the capsule right now. It seems like the hatch is opened up there now.
I mean, we saw the applause.
We saw the applause. So the hatch is open. It appears perhaps one of the civilians has gone through the hatch and is now preparing for the spacewalk. This is incredible.
This is history in the making that we're watching
right
live.
now. We're told this entire spacewalk is expected to last about 2 hours, but what an incredible experience there.
I know, and Alan, I mean, you've been geeking out. I've been watching you, keeping an eye on the SpaceX live feed on Twitter. I mean, look at that shot, right?
I'm assuming this is looking up through the hatch, out into space right now.
I mean, absolutely incredible that we're getting the opportunity to watch this happening live right now from space. And as Alan mentioned, if you're just joining us, we are watching the first civilian spacewalk. And it's happening, what did you say, twice as high as the International Space Station?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, look.
It's really incredible. You can see this seems like it might be a helmet cam right now.
Yeah.
And it appears
that is exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, they're going through, getting prepared to go through the hatch right now. We know the commander on board is Jarek Isaacman, the billionaire who's working with SpaceX to make this all possible.
I was watching Elon Musk was tweeting out all the SpaceX feeds, obviously, as well. But
wow.
We're watching this happen live in real time, this all-civilian spacewalk, first ever.
What do you think they're thinking? You prepare for this, and then you have delay after delay, and then finally you get the go-ahead to launch, and then now They are getting ready.
That.
Look at this.
That is absolutely incredible. I mean, how cool that we now have the opportunity to have those helmet cams so that we're able to see what these civilian astronauts are seeing.
Can we listen in? Is there a chance we can listen in to hear what is being said right now? Is that possible?
We hear lots of applause.
Yeah. Wow. There we go. Look at this shot right here.
Gosh. Wow.
Commander Jared Isaacman.
Jared Isaacman, again, the commander there.
Watching from the nose cone.
He's going through the nose cone right now. Imagine what he's thinking, looking at Earth right now.
I bet you've just got to be completely awesome.
Right are 3. Pitch and roller 3. Yaw is a 2. Switching. Single-handed operations are fine. Static and with dynamic disturbance. Switching to left hand.
Wow. Incredible.
It is. It is. I love that we have this opportunity to watch it as it's happening live and bring it to
up, down, left,
bring it
and
to
right
all of you.
Are 3,
so cool.
Maybe a 2.
We also know, again, this is just incredible because it's the first ever civilian spacewalk. We know that they are also testing out those new spacesuits by SpaceX, some of the top-of-the-line spacesuits. So not only is this just a historical spacewalk mission, but they're also going to be doing some tests.
Matrix 1 complete. HUD check, 5.3 PSI, 48% RH, 33.9 Celsius.
Sounds like they're just going through some of their checks right now.
Test Matrix 1 and HUD readout.
Crew ops check, EV1's good. EV1 good. What's you good? Okay, stepping into vertical translation. We're going to start with the horizontal bars.
It's not too often I get lost for words.
I know. I'm just sitting here.
But right now, I'm just like, I can't.
You're in awe. I mean, I'm in awe.
Yeah.
And it's incredible to hear all of the minutia that they have to go through and check to make sure that this is able to go off without a hitch.
And you know what I've noticed here in just the last couple of minutes? Look how quickly, when first Jared Isaacman got out of the nose cone there, it was light out there.
Right.
You could see all of Earth. And then now you can see just how dark it's quickly becoming out there. As the Earth rotates, perhaps even the capsule moving right now.
Absolutely incredible that we get to watch this.
You have good video?
We just lost our live video, but stand by 1 minute.
All right, so you just heard them talking about that lost that live video, but we're going to continue to keep an eye on that. And if there's anything else that we want you to see, we'll be sure to dip back in and show you. Back here on Earth, here in Southwest Florida, if you have kids in the Charlotte County School District, you might notice more law enforcement around campus today. Both the Punta Gorda Police Department and the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office are investigating social media threats. The agencies say the threats are not credible, but they want to make sure everyone feels safe at school today nonetheless. In Northport, we know 2 students were arrested for making threats. Previously, only 1 student had been charged for allegedly making a threat on social media. That was Monday afternoon, but now Northport PD says 2 14-year-olds are now facing charges.
6:56, and this morning a family is now working to find a new place to live after a failed electrical circuit destroyed their home. Take a look at this fire here. So it's at the Covered Wagon Mobile Home Park just off US 41 in Estero, south of Corkscrew Road. Look at those flames there as crews responded. We know that a family, including it looks like 2 young children, lived at the house for 12 years. We're told they lost everything. Even more devastating, it was actually on one of the kids' birthdays.
I am devastated. I have nowhere to sleep. I don't have my kids. Where are they going to sleep?
thankfully no one was hurt. We know right now the Red Cross is helping the family get back on their feet. The family is also staying at a hotel for 2 days until they can figure out more about their long-term plans.
Putting a new fire station right where it's needed most, and it will finally open its doors today. We're talking about Station 107 opening at the corner of Leonard Boulevard and Owen Avenue South in Lehigh Acres. NBC2's Mercedes Martinez is local from the site this morning. So Mercedes, this is right off State Road 82, which is quite a dangerous area. So how is this new fire station going to help?
Yes, Lisa. Well, right now, actually, you can see that crews are setting up for the grand opening ceremony for Station 107. It sits here only half a mile away from State Road 82, which, as we all know, is a crash-prone road, making response times there faster. Lehigh Acres Fire and Rescue say they frequently are needed to respond to major crashes there and are often needed for multiple rescues for patient transportation. Now, this new fire station was also needed to keep up with population growth and a growing industrial park. Like I mentioned, they are setting up the chairs right there for the grand opening ceremony. That is slated for 10 this morning. I'm local in Lehigh Acres, Mercedes Martinez, NBC2.
Traffic on NBC2 is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan.
Well, good news on I-75. Speed time starting to finally improve northbound near Bonita Beach after that construction shut down that right lane, really all the way down through those backups lasting through Vanderbilt. I want to, for a moment, switch over to our live cameras. A heads up for those of you in inland Lee County, a crash reported on Lee Boulevard at Gunnery Road. It is causing significant slowdowns, especially if you're traveling north on Gunnery this morning. That's your NBC2 traffic alert.
1 minute before 7 a.m., we'll start with the NBC2 First Alert Live Doppler radar. I'll tell you, we're not going to see a whole lot of thunderstorm action out there today, but we do have a developing shower, a downpour that's closing in on Marco Island right now. As we look over southern sections of Collier County, you can see some of that rain over the far western side of Marco and trying to lift up toward Shell Island and County Highway 951. Most of us will stay dry through the morning hours. By midday, a few isolated thunderstorms. The heat index feeling pretty brutal out there today. The temperature not so bad, 92, but it's all about the humidity. Most of the storms will push inland as we get into the afternoon and evening. And looking across the tropics, no threats to us right now. Francine made landfall, of course, yesterday. It caused a lot of flooding issues, which we'll talk about on the Today Show coming up in just a few minutes. Alan, Lisa.
All right, taking a live look right now again at that first commercial spacewalk. This is Commander Isaacman. He's conducting suit mobility tests, and the Dragon is flying over Australia and Antarctica right now.
This is pretty incredible. Just looking on X right now, SpaceX account has more than 2 million views.